Thanks for having me out here in Boise, Idaho today. Sure way to go ahead and start the class. And from the get-go, the young man right here with the dark-haired bear is going to be my client. His blade, that one's the best in his skull shape and his jaw. You get on top of him, that one's the freshest about his back. Step off to the side, that one looks the most like a show bear. The way he uses his hip and hind leg, sits down on a big paw. Young man right here is the one that rivals that one the closest. I think he represents my class winner the best. I will see his skin, not as long in his hair. Study his skull shape. I don't think he's as stout as right there on the crown of his head, down in through with the most comfortability out of the entire top pair. I think when I step back to the side and where I critique that one, but as far as comfortability and getting around, I do like that one a good deal. That one's got a real good hip and hind leg, and that one starts to move up in this class because I think after we get talking about some hard muscle shape about his back, kind of worked up from the same reason. Compare it, the reason I put it fifth instead of fourth, you got one driving at me. And Pete, young lady, it's in sixth. Six has got a bear that probably his hind leg. I got to see some more shape up high. Young lady is going to round the class out. I think that one's same story. That one's pliable better. Needs to be knocked in his knee. Y'all give it up for this great round of kids. Y'all give it up for a great round of pigs. These kids.
Saps, Middleton Wranglers. Coming in third today, Noah Wiersma, Canyon County, Rocky Mountain 4-H with a red. Fifth with a red goes to Mela Michaelis, Middleton Wranglers. Seventh with a white, Marcella College. We're going to welcome our first class of light cross market hogs. These range from 2.
Let's max them out and set up in terms of power. Get on top of that one. That is by far the biggest bladed, biggest back, most shape. This super square from his hip, hawk down to the angle, but it's far and away good enough in his class. I like that one a good. I think we're going to start powering them out from down here on. I think this one is the one that next represents back shape, pounds. As far as pounds, I think this one's good. Stepping behind this one compared to here in 4. I think as far as elevation and head carriage, I like that one a good deal. For me, that one gets a little expression over the top side of his skeleton. For me, that one needs to have some more bones and some more pipes underneath them for go ahead and move elevation and what needs to go ahead and move up in this class. Y'all give it up for a great round of kids.
To this first class of light cross exhibitors. First place with a purple ribbon, Emma Hacker, Boots 4-H Club. With a fourth with a white, Gabriel Hernandez, Sagebrush. In sixth with a white, Gage Matiag, Red Top Wranglers. Next class is Class 2, Class 3, Light Cross Class 2. These market hogs range from Colin, Seth Millsaps, and Lydia Thornton. Exhibitors and parents, if no. The only exclusions is if you're in the final drive or if you have another
ahead and win. I think that one, in terms of comparing the two, I think that's the one that's cleaner about his jaw, fresher about his front end. That one's far and away more comfortable, extremely pliable through its center body. When I compare it to my class winner, the reason I don't go ahead and use the bigger legged one, I don't think this one goes and grabs and greets. That one probably does look a little bit more elevated in the rings, but going back to the basics and studying angles and what they really represent, this one is the more expressive one. One is better in that. Young man's broken-eared bear, I think that one represents a lot in terms of the same thing ahead of it, maybe just not as much. That thing's flexed. I think as far as expression up high and up through its hip represents a lot of good things. For me, I got to see that one just have more turn. Kids, good grounded pigs. My compliments to each and every one of them.
Congratulations to Class 2 of Light Cross. In first place with a purple ribbon, Trig Lober, Primetime 4-H. Second today goes to Lydia Thornton, Locust Grove Wranglers with a blue. Both Trig and Lydia will come back for the Light Cross runoff. In third today, we have with a blue, Nico Seymour, Critters of Gold. Fourth goes to Logan Reese, Dry Lake Livestock with a red. Coming in fifth with a red, Connor Wallen, Locust Grove Wranglers. Seth Millsaps, Middleton Wranglers, sixth with a white. In seventh with a white, Eisen Sanchez, Caveman Critters. And in eighth with a white, Elena Bean, Critters of Gold 4-H. Great job. Now coming into the class is our Eisen Sanchez, Caveman Critters. And in pounds, Priscilla Garcia, Kylie Thornton, Murphy Klaus, Natalie Thornton, Mark Hendricks, Marcus Beans, and Kara Dornan of the Swine Show. That you go to the backdrop with your pig so you can be live streamed. All exhibitors, they're asking for that. So the backdrop photos are at the conclusion of the market show at the end. And it is jeffrieslivestockmarketing.com if you're interested in reviewing it. jeffrieslivestockmarketing.com. But all of that is at the conclusion at the end of the market show.
Pretty easy place for me to land, and that's what the young lady's bear right in front of me. I think as far as what this one represents, being pliable through its forerib, having some shape up high, more extended, not a little higher in its head carriage, but for what that one represents in this particular class, I think this one wins, and it wins pretty easy. Young lady, it's going to be in second. As far as having some expression and having some shape down through its hip and its ham, I like this one the next best. I still think this one does represent some show pig characteristics. I think that one's high about its natural head carriage. I think that one does actually have some flex and some durability to its hip and hind leg. For me, I got to see that one be softer, more pliable about the center portion. This is where that one is better, and this one does have the advantage because this one is more pliable. This one does have more spread. For me, this one just runs out of the extra. This one runs out of some foot size, needs bigger pipes, starting to get swollen in its glands. I'd like to make that one more attractive through its head and neck. Young man, I see more show pig pieces. I got to see that one be stouter about his jaw, stouter about his ankle. He has to have more things to him to go up and work up north. Young man that's going to come out next I think as far as pliability, lateness, and maturity, I like this one. Runs out of pieces, needs some more foot size, needs some more growth. Go ahead. Next two coming out, and what they need to represent from the side, in my mind. Y'all give it up for a great round of kiddos and a good set of hogs. My compliments to each and every one of you exhibitors.
Congratulations to this Class 3 of Light Cross. First place with the purple ribbon, Kylie Thornton, Locust Grove Wranglers. Second ball, Middleton Wranglers. Coming in fourth with the red, Murphy Klaus, Cuna FFA. In fifth, Mark Hendricks, Rocky Mountain 4-H with a white. With the white in sixth place, Marcus Bean, Critters of Gold. And in seventh with the white, Priscilla Garcia, Caveman Critters. Congratulations. We're now going to have our last class of Light Cross, Class 5, which is Class 4 of Light Cross. These
spread. That one's the next best. Step off to the side. I'd like you guys to see some extras from that one. And then the young man in third. This one is the later maturing of the pair. I do think this one's got more growth built into its body, into its genetics. For me, I just think this one doesn't have quite as much progressive spread from its blade back all the way to its hip as the one in second. That's why I went ahead and placed that the way I did. A young lady that's going to come out here in fourth. I think your gilt probably does have more expression than two ahead of it. That one is probably more of the right kind in terms of expression down the top side of its skeleton. For me, I just got to see more total to that one. Like to see more pounds, more product, more power. Go ahead and move up in that one. A young lady that's going to It's coming out next. Same story. This one probably does have more expression than even second and third. Just like to see that one be a little bit softer center deck through its lower third. They go ahead and work up in the class. Young lady that's going to round the class out is probably the latest maturing hog in the entire drive. For me, that one just gets too dry and too frail about its hip and its hind leg to go ahead and work up. Exceptional kiddos. Y'all are doing a great job raising them here in Idaho.
Place with the red ribbon, Savannah Stewart, Critters of Gold. In second with a white ribbon, Walter Sophia Sanford, Lola Almeida, and Logan Reese. Following this first class of Duroc, we're going to have our light cross runoff. We're going to have our light cross runoff. As we move through the show today, don't forget, if you have 2 market hogs, once you're finished showing and you are finished and not in the final drive or showing another species, you need to complete your no-sell form. I have them available up here at the announcer stand. So come get them and get them turned in within 1 hour of the conclusion of the market show.
Without a doubt, the hardest decision I've had to make is with the top 2 in this particular class. I don't think they exactly represent one another. I think they're quite a bit different in terms of either end of their skeleton, extremely similar through the center portion of their body. I'm going to go ahead and describe them. Young man that's right in front of me, that's going to go ahead and be my class winner. I think that one's pliable through his center body, just like the one behind him. Expressive, still has some natural head carriage to him. And then where this one go ahead and wins when I study this one right at the ground at his feet and ankles. I think there is more flex there. I think he is square, more secure off his hip and hind leg, the one I got in second. That's why I go ahead and give him the nod to beat the gilt I got in second. Now, if you like the gilt standing ringside, I gilt in. Ask me why I beat her. Step behind her. That one wants to hawk in ever so slightly, get a little bit tighter about her ankle. I think that's an exceptional pair. I like both of them hogs, young men. Y'all have done an outstanding job. Another hard decision for me was what I was going to do third, fourth, and fifth, because when I study what kind of class out, I think in terms of pliability and durability through the lower third of its skeleton, good livestock. For me, I got to open that one up coming north and south and get that one more relaxed off of either end of its skeleton. An exceptional job by all these kiddos. My compliments to each and every one of them. There's some good showmen in this class.
Congratulations to this first class of Duroc exhibitors. First place from Dry Lake Livestock, Logan Reese with a blue. In second with a blue, Levi Reese, Dry Lake Livestock. Both Logan and Levi will return for the runoff. In third with a red, Lily Boiselle, Caveman Critters. With fourth with a red, Sophia Sanford, Homedale FFA. Coming in fifth with a white, Luke Boiselle, Caveman Critters. And in sixth with a white, Lola Almeida, Locust Grove Wranglers. We're moving on to our light cross runoff, representing Class 1, Emma Hacker and Callie Joe Rhodes. Class 2, Trig Lober and Lydia Thornton. Class 3, Kylie Thornton and Kara Dornenball. And Class 4, Savannah Stewart and Walter Hendricks. This will be for our champion light cross. First and second.
Exceptional set of light crosses. I'll give them a round of applause. I think this is 4 good pigs to represent this particular breed. For me, it comes down to 2 of them. I think neither one of them are perfect and neither one of them are anywhere near similar. I think one represents more of my kind from the side elevation, a little shorter back, still compact, and still has a hip and hind leg. I step behind that one. I do question, is that one good enough from its hip, hock, down to the surface as I did in class? And then there's a young man out here that does the same things in terms of being pliable through its center part of his body, still a little bit longer ribbed, still uses its hip and hind leg and utilizes it extremely well. Is that one good enough in his front pasterns? Is he compact and short enough in his center portion of his skeleton? He's really good in his elevation up front. I got some trade-offs and some decisions to make. For me, I'm more comfortable using ones that I feel like represent what I want to from the side. Both of them have their holes. Both of them are extremely good animals. I like the young lady to go ahead and be my champion.
Hacker and Trig will come back tonight for the final drive. We're going to move on to Class 8, which is our second class of Durocs. These market hogs range from 277 to 299 pounds. We have Micah Boiselle, Piper Hubler, Caden Scrimma, Austin Rush, Garrett Hubler, and Charlie Scrimma.
present all day long. I want to be able to be good, functional hogs that still have some flexibility, some pliability, and then have some shape and some power. I know the young man's gilt hasn't got its head up most of the day, but I do think that one represents the best kind of livestock, and I'm going to stand behind it. Young man, you got my class winner in second. You got my class winner today. Young lady in second. My compliments on your showmanship. I think you're doing an exceptional job. Just due to that, your hog does have the highest natural head carriage. That one is the highest represented today from a side profile standpoint. When I compare it back to my class winner, though, young lady, your gilt runs out of power over the top side of its skeleton. I'd like to see that one be a little bit more pliable, have a little bit more foot size and bone underneath it as well. The next one coming out, young man, your bear is extreme. Good job, young lady. Next one coming out, young man, your bear is extremely, there's a third place.
Hogs ranged from 300 to 354 pounds. Waverly Millard, Kaysen Hart, Lucy Knotts, Grant Thornton, Bo Brunmeyer, and Sean Tooley.
I really struggle with the phrase that wins pretty easy, even though I use it quite frequently, just because I think it's to the kids it's a little bit too much. But I think in terms of this particular class, it's kind of a one-horse race. I like this young lady's white bear to go ahead and win. I think in terms of shape, I think in presence and kind and what that represents, that one's awfully good. That one looks like it's going to get to a heavyweight, and its skeleton's dang sure going to stay with it. And then on top of that one's got some look into the young lady can flat out drive it. After that, I think there's quite a bit of sort. You can go a couple of different ways. If you want to side with a little bit more top shot, then you're going to like my young man's bear in third. If you want to go with a little bit more just power, presence, and pliability through the lower third of one's skeleton, that's why I go ahead and land with the young man right here in the plaid shirt to be second. I just want to see that one just have a little bit more extension up high. I think that one's elevation's good, and the young man does a good job exhibiting his project. Just for me, just like to see the extras to go ahead and rival my class winner. Same for this one. Just want to see this one be a little bit more pliable through its lower third of his skeleton. Maybe want to square that one's hip up just ever so slightly. Young lady, it's going to come out in fourth. I think expression, that one checks off the boxes. That one's got a lot up high and a lot of good shape and a lot of good kind up high. When I study that young lady's hog going away, though, that's where I got to fix that thing. That one is not square enough from his hip hop down to the surface. Wants to push and bow ever so slightly. Coming out next is the young man in the flowered shirt. I think as far as lateness and maturity and the kind that we have, that one's good. For me, that one needs to utilize his hip and his hind leg better to move up. A young man that's going to round out the class, real late maturing one that's got a lot of product. I'd like to see that one set on a bigger foot and utilize his hip and hind leg a little bit better. My compliments to each and every one of you. Good job, young man.
Congratulations to this class of exhibitors. In first place with the blue ribbon, Waverly Millard, Canyon County Fair Junior Livestock. Second goes to Grant Thornton, Happy Valley Livestock with a red. Third with the red, Kaysen Hart, Red Top Wranglers. In fourth, Lucy Knotts, Red Top Wranglers with a red. Hogs range from 229 to 238 pounds. Following this class, we will have our Duroc class runoff.
I had to sit back and study my top pair to really decide what I was going to stand on, if I was going to stand on my ground of making them built right and the kind that I'm going to have and then still powering them out, or if I was going to use a bigger legged one that I didn't. Sorry. Or if I was going to stand my ground. And I went ahead and started to use the young lady right here in the center ring with the darker, better skin, Barra. I think that one just represents better kind of livestock. I think that one's extremely more flexible through its hip and its hind leg. I still think that one represents better kind of pig through the center portion of its body and more natural and higher about its head carriage. Now I will say, if you want to stand on the ground, that my second place has bigger legs, bigger feet, and that one has far more extras than my class winner. You're right, I can ride that horse all day long. Reason reason I beat that one, I just think I really step off to the side and I study that one's maturity pattern and what livestock that represents. Take nothing away from it. I do think that one's starting to swell in its gland. That was a little bit shorter pattern when I study its skull and the way its ears set on its face. I just want to be more comfortable with using the one that I think is just longer and longer doing. Young lady in third probably represents my class winner the most, being later pattern, expressive up high. For me, that just one needs to have bigger foot size and just use its hip and hind leg a little bit more flexible than the two ahead of him, above him. Next one that's coming out. Young man, I thought you had an expressive bear up top. I thought he had some shape. I don't know if we're battling an injury, but we got some swollen, have more power and width than any of the three ahead of it. For me, that one's starting to swollen its gland, wants to get a little east and west off either end of its skeleton. My compliments to each and every one of them. I like that top pair quite a bit.
Exhibitors, first place with a blue ribbon, Kennedy Kildau, Homedale FFA. In second today, we have Lydia Thornton, Locust Grove Wranglers with a blue. Coming in third with the red, Kennedy Kildau, Homedale FFA. Bobby Watkins, Cowpokes 4-H with the fourth place with the red. In fifth with the white, Hunter Doolin, Valley View FFA. And in sixth place with a white, Truett Tucker, Red Top Wranglers. We are now going into our Duroc runoff for our division winners. Representing Class 1, Logan Reese and Levi Reese.
Class, maybe the quality wasn't in deep in there, and I kind of had to fall back on the basics, and me just kind of liking the kind this gilt represented. I think that's good kind of livestock. And then there was one that came out of that third class that it hit me awfully hard in terms of elevation, being extremely flexible and being able to go even to a heavier weight than it is as today, and still be able to keep its hip and hind leg in such a flexible and athletic manner, and then still looking like a show bearer from the side. For me, that one's my favorite. Dropped the second place in here, and I thought we talked about one that represents just pliability and power out through the center portion of its skeleton, being pride about its sternum, blade, and its heart. For me, there's another one in here that just represents the kind that I'm after. The young man in the center of the ring, you're going to have my reserve.
Congratulations, our Duroc Jesse Hennis. Cameron Montanez, Jesse Hennis, Cameron Montanez, Carson Gentry, Emily Dornenball, and John Eager. Parents, do not forget to pick up no-sell forms if your child has 2 market hogs. They're available up here at the announcer stand. They're due 1 hour at the conclusion of the market show.
Y'all give it up for a great round of kiddos and some good livestock. These kids are doing an exceptional job today in how they present their animals and the respect they've shown me, whether they were first or last in the particular drive. For me, the young lady's going to go out and win this class. Now, I will admit, this gilt is not perfect. She does not utilize her hip and her hind leg near good enough. There's no flex to her hog. But I think in terms of taking that, in terms of studying the whole animal and studying how much shape that one has up high, that one's turned to its forerib, and then still looking like a show gilt from the side. Put a better hip on that one. I think that one's awfully good. Young lady, you're going to go ahead and win the class. Young man in second, that's the one where I had some trouble because I am a build guy, and I do think yours is better in its hip and its hind leg and an upgrade in that manner by some margin. For me, when I study this one, I just want to see this one have more shape up high, be a little fresher over the top side of its neck, and have a bit more stouter to the bottom side of its jaw and its ankle. And then the young man in third, yours is better in that manner. Yours is stouter in its jaw, stouter in its ankle. That one does have a lot of spread. In terms of the top 3, that one does have the most spread out of the entire class. Why beat him, you say? Get behind him. That one wants to push his hawk quite a bit. Going to go ahead and stand with him in third. Young lady, it's coming out in fourth. One, the longer I study, the more that I appreciate it, because I think that one has some elevation. That one has some lateness, maturity. That one uses its hot hip and its hind leg in a decent manner. It still has some shape up high. For me, I just got to see that one be fresher everywhere. Young lady that's gonna be here at fifth. I think as far as power and going away, yours excels in this particular class. That's the biggest pin gilt in the entire drive. For me, that one just gets a little bit flatter ribbed, a little bit more ouchy on his front feet. I like to see that one be a little bit more attractive in the manner that she sets her ears on top of her skull. Young man right here in sixth. I think expression of lateness, maturity, I like your gilt. For me, I just got to see her with some more groceries through the center portion of her skeleton. I like to see her go ever so slightly. You've done an exceptional job, young man. Young man that's going to round the class out. I think lateness, maturity, and the kind of an extension that this one represents is still fairly good livestock. For me, I just got to see this one have more power all the way throughout, north, south, east, and west. Just pack more onto it, and that one moves up a little bit. My compliments to each and every one of these exhibitors. They've done an exceptional job today.
Canyon County Fair Livestock with the blue. Both Cameron and Jacob will come back for the Hampshire runoff. Third place with the red goes to Carson Gentry, Dry Lake Livestock. In fourth with the red, Emily, Canyon County Fair Livestock with the blue. Both Cameron and Jacob will come back for the Hampshire runoff. Third, Luke Eager. Just a reminder, the show is being live streamed with Jeffrey's livestockmarketing.com. You can tell individuals that aren't here that they can be
Y'all give it up for a good set of showmen. They've done an exceptional job in this particular drive. I like the young lady on the far end of the substance in the center portion of its skeleton. That one studied its skull. That one's got a stout mug and uses its hip and hind leg. Far and away the best in this particular drive. Young lady, I'd like yours to win. Where the one in second gave me some trouble and where I started to doubt myself a little bit is when the young lady gets the stick on that one. That one is far and away the most elevated in its natural head carriage, and it's due to the fact that the young lady's just an exceptional showman. When I compare it back to my class winner, though, that one doesn't use its hip and hind leg. A little bit shorter about it and steeper about its hip, a little straighter about its hock. That's why I go ahead and put that one in second as the build. Young man that's in third just kind of started working its way up the longer I started studying him. That one's not bad kind of livestock. He's pliable and he's durable through the center portion of his through the center portion of his skeleton. Just doesn't have quite the extras. Maybe a little similar in that one's hip, and its design is the one ahead of it. Young man that's right here in fourth. I don't know if this one's a mate to the one he showed me in the class before this one, but it does represent a lot of the same pieces of this up off either direction. You see, have some bigger foot size and just some more extras and some more stoutness to that one to go ahead and move up. And then the young man that rounds out the class, that's an expressive, late maturing kind of gilt. Just need to see some more groceries in the center portion of that one's body. Maybe put a better hip and hind leg on it. That one starts to move up a little bit. My compliments to each and every one of these exhibitors. They've done a great job.
Great job for Hampshire class number 3. First place with the blue ribbon, Jaylin Acuna, Dirty Boots 4-H. In second with the blue, Emery Kirk, Critters of Gold. Both Jaylin and Emery will return for the Hampshire division runoff. In third with the red, Jesse Armstrong, Middleton FFA. Coming in fourth today with the red, Jesse Hennis, Dry Lake Livestock. In fifth with the red, Sarah Beth Graham, Critters of Gold. Luke Eager, Middleton Wranglers, sixth place with the white. And in seventh with the white, Colson Kassler, Shooting Stars 4-H. Class number 14, our fourth class of Hampshires, and our last class is coming in the show ring. These market hogs range from 268 to 306 pounds. Kate Thornton, Allie Rose Stewart, Zoe Blackner, Hudson Burnett, Darby Lober, and Allie Rose Stewart.
I don't know if there's one in here this particular puts all the pieces together in me, but there is one that hit me extremely hard out the gate. And I'm a big guy of first impressions. Young lady right here in front of me, you're going to have my class winner. I think that one, just in terms of what it represents, it's the best one in this class. That one's the squarest by its hip, has some expression. Young lady does an exceptional job on the stick, and due to that, that one is the highest in its natural head carriage. That one has a lot of extension ahead of its blade when you really study its front third. I guess if I wanted to get really particular about this one, maybe just open up a little bit more at the base of the ground. That's getting pretty picky on an awfully good one. I think there's quite a bit of sort after that tip, has some expression. Young lady does an exceptional job on the stick, and due to that, that one is the highest in its natural head carriage. As I like this one second best today. The young lady's gilt in third. That looks like she might be in heat. I think that one is, from a skin and hair standpoint, my compliments to you, young lady, because I think that one's the next best in this particular class. Good job, young man. I like that one from an expressive standpoint. I just want to see that one be a little bit bolder about her forerib and just have a little bit more right there at the base of her forerib and depth to her heart. Maybe square her up in her knee ever so slightly. Young lady's coming out in her fourth. I had trouble with this one. I didn't really know where this bear needed to land just because that one's got so much power on the top side of its skeleton and out of its upper hip and down to its ground. That one's even squarer than my class winner. I don't know if it's quite the crisp, firm shape I'm after. That one's gets a little bit staler up high, maybe a little bit jowlier through its throat latch and on the top side of its crest, but still an awful good, powerful pig that I think that needed to be represented fourth and go ahead and get a red ribbon. The young man that's going to come out next, I thought there was some expression to be said about this one. For me, this one just kind of runs out of the extras. That one's not as good in its ear set and its skull shape and its attractiveness from the side. Wants to close up in its chest quite a bit coming at me. That's what it went ahead and made me feel like that one needed to go ahead and work down instead of up in this particular class. Top shape, squareness, and build. I like that one. A good job. Young man does a heck of a job showing him. Now, young lady's coming out next. I think one that represents some shape and some longevity and some lateness and maturity in its type and kind. That one's got too much set to its hock. Want to see that one opened up, set on a bigger foot as well. Good job, young lady. Young man that rounds out the class. young lady right here in front of me has got my class winner today. I think that one's the best in terms of flexibility, coordination, having some shape up high and looking like a show gilt from the side. I like yours to win, and I like it to do it fairly easily in this particular class. A young man that's going to go right here in second. I think as far as once you get your pig out and you drive him, I think there's a lot of good to say about him in terms of depth of body and still having some pliability to his forerib and the kind that he represents. This doesn't have quite the shape as my class winner. Young lady right here in third. If you like this one because of big legs, I get it, and this one sets some shape up high. For me, I got to see some more groceries in the center portion of this one's skeleton, make him a little bit more pliable and soggier right there as well. Square him up from behind ever so slightly out of his hot. Young man that's going to come out in fourth. In terms of width, power, and what kind this one represents, headed north and south, this one's probably the most busted apart in its sternum, chest, and its blade. For me, I don't know if it's the right kind of product. That one gets a little scaler on the top side of his skeleton, steeper, shorter out of his hip. That's why he's a little bit more restricted. Young lady coming out next, I thought I saw the lateness and maturity extension, the kind that your gilt represented. There was a lot of good to be said for this particular animal. For me, though, when I study this one, I just got to see this one have more width from behind as well as be stouter in its foot size at the ground. This have a little bit more go and reach as well. Young lady, I like that one a lot in terms of extension. Young man that's going to come out and get next.
Good job on class 15, our first class of dark cross exhibitors. First place from Rocky Mountain 4-H with a blue, Delaney Hansen. Second with a red, Wyatt Arendt. Dirty Boots for Lydia Thornton.
Let's give our Pooper Scooper Brigade volunteers a big round of applause.
Hey, well, man, if I could put them theses together of them two particular animals, then you'd have a really good one, and then one that really stand behind and just say is just flat out freaking good. But I still think this quality out here is extremely exceptional. Neither one of them are perfect. I have two in mind. They're quite a bit different, where one needs to be better, the other one's really good, where the other one needs to be better, the other one's really good. So I think there's trade-offs, and I don't know if there's just stable, super stable ground to stand on. I'm going to go back to what I've said from the beginning. Let's make them extremely right in their build and their kind. Let's max them out in terms of power, extras, lateness and maturity, extension, give them all the bells and whistles. I think the young lady right here in the center does the closest job to that for me. Drop that second place in there, and I think he fits more with the other three that than the one that I'm going to go ahead and use. Still good kind of livestock. I talked that one in class about maybe not getting his head up, but just still being good in his presence and kind, having shape and just power. For me, there's another one. I talked that champion in class when that one's going away. I'd like to drop that second place in there, and I think he fits more with the other three.
Congratulations! Our Hampshire Division winner is Darby Lober, Primetime 4-H. And our reserve Hampshire Division winner is Kennedy Kildow, Homedale FFA. Both Darby and Kennedy will come back tonight for the final drive for the champion market hog. We're moving on to class number 17. This is our second class of dark cross. These market hogs range from 246 to 260 pounds. Marin Michaelis, Akaya Taylor, John Pollack, Cade Thornton, Hazel Costa, McKenna Murray, and Akaya Taylor.
exceptional gilt to go ahead and start the drive off. What young man, you're going to have my class winner out there on the side, the center of the ring. I think that one's awfully good in what I'm trying to do. That one's lateness and maturity for being a lightweight. That one doesn't look like a midget out here. That one looks like that one still has some growth, just looks young. I think that one's really good in the pliability. Hind leg as attractive as my class winner does. No, it doesn't. That's why I go ahead and put the young lady's barrier in second. Awfully nice, powerful pig to go ahead and do in second. You should be awfully proud of your project, young lady. Young lady, it's going to be in third. The longer that one was out here, the more that one kind of moved up. That one's first gates out of the step were pretty ouchy, and I had it towards the bottom of the class. The longer that one gets out, that's the one that does represent a show hog, the next best. I do know she is flatter in her pastures, but she is still probably the next most extended in terms of its outside of its blades and its ear shape and its skull shape. I'd love to put that one back on its pastures. I think we start to rival our second place if that's the case. Young lady, it comes out here fourth. That's the pair for me. Third, fourth, what do? Do you use the better built one right here that the young lady's got, or do you use the one that's more extended and represents the kind that I'm after? I think that's why I went ahead and landed this one in fourth. All this one is sounder and does have more flexibility out of its hip and hop. That one gets a little bit jammed up front. Color pattern isn't helping that one. Like to see a little bit more expression off it up top and behind from that one to go ahead and move out. Young lady, that's where yours is a little bit better than the one ahead of him. More attractive in his ear set. Y'all give it up for a great round of bids. They've done an exceptional job showing these animals today.
Great job. The results from dark class number 2, which is class 17. First place, Kate Thornton, Locust Grove Wranglers with the blue. In second, McKenna Murray with the red, Critters of Gold. Both Kate and McKenna will come back for the runoff for dark cross. In third, we have Akaya Taylor, Napa FFA with the red. In fourth today, Akaya Taylor, Napa FFA with the red. Fifth goes to Marin Michaelis, Middleton Wranglers with a white. And in sixth, Hazel Costa, Middleton Wranglers with a white. This is class number 18. Showing market. So if you enter 2 market animals, come get your no-sell form. They need to be turned in within 1 hour so you can be in the sale on Saturday.
step back and tell you this class, I like the young lady's gilt right here to surface to the top in this particular drive. I think what that gilt represents, being opened up to the center portion of its cage, being opened up, driving at me through its sternum and its heart and its blade, and then still looking like a show gilt from the side that can motor around. I like that one to go ahead and win in this particular class. I guess if I'm getting picky on her, she does want to stab her back left a little bit outside the plane of her skeleton ever so slightly. That's being pretty good on that's being pretty hard on a pretty good one. A young lady that's over there on the far side of the ring, you're going to have my gilt that's in second. I think as far as lateness, maturity, and elevation, I like yours probably the most in this particular class. That thing's extended. That thing's attractive in her skull shape. When I say that, I want to compare it to my class winner, though. It's probably primarily in her hip design. She's a little shorter, steeper out of her hip. I think that's why she's a little bit more restricted, a little choppier in the way she uses her hind leg. A young lady that's right here in third, one that just kind of kept working up for me. Skin inherited a job for this young. I was going to do fifth, fourth. What was the answer right here? Because at times I had this one in third. I thought from being opened up and just kind of the livestock he represents, the word that came to mind was complete. I think that word, though, kind of does walk a finer line of also being a little bit plainer in his shape and his texture from behind, skull shape, getting a little bit, starting to show a little bit of age on his skull. They went ahead and put him fifth. A young lady that comes out in sixth did an exceptional job on the stick today. I think as far as just durability and pliability through the center portion of his body, that one's awfully good. There's some substance there. Just a little bit plainer for me. Next two coming out, I think that the young man's kind of same story. That one just kind of wanted a bulldog up front. And I say that one kind of wants to push out on his blade, get a little bit east and west off of me. That's why I went ahead and worked him down. And then the young lady that rounds our class out, lateness, maturity, checks off all them boxes. Just got to see more power all the way throughout for that one to work up. My compliments to each and one of these exhibitors. They're extremely respectful. Y'all, my compliments to the parents and the way y'all are doing raising y'all's kids here in Idaho.
Congratulations to our dart class number 3, class 18. First place, Cameron Montanez, Dirty Boots 4-H with the blue. In second, with the blue, Sawyer Watkins, Cowpokes 4-H. Both Cameron and Sawyer will come back for the dart cross runoff. In third, we have Sophia Sanford, Homedale FFA with the red. Fourth, Rose Fox, Critters of Gold with the red. In fifth, Grant Thornton, Happy Valley Livestock with the red. In sixth today, Sailor Gregorio, Critters of Gold with the red. Fifth, Grant Thornton, Happy Valley Livestock with the red. In sixth today, Sailor Gregorio, Critters of Gold with the red. Receiving a white in seventh, Jacob Fuller, Red Top Wranglers. And with a white in eighth, Sarah Beth Graham, Critters of Gold. Moving on to class number 19, our dart cross class number 4.
the most powerful in her hip. Now that does come with some critiques. She doesn't utilize her hip and her hind leg just quite as much like I'd see her, just as quite as good as I'd like to see her, as well as starting to swell up in her glands quite a bit. But for what they represent, that thing's opened up, still square, and still has some look. I like that one to go ahead and win this class. Young man, I like yours second. I think that one represents a lot from the side. As far as what that one can do in its hip and hind leg, I think it's better than our class champion in the way she takes her hip or takes her hock farther back past her tail root and drives forward more comfortably. For me, where I got harsh on that one, young man, is when I watch her going away. I just got to see more to him coming and going. Go ahead and work him out. Red one coming out next. That's a longer body, longer made hog. It's got some extension up front. For me, that one's build and that one's kind started to kind of fall off the table a little bit. A little flatter in its pastern as well as its forerib. Maybe not as good in its hip and hind leg is starting to push off its hock quite a bit. Coming out next, I thought one that had some shape and had some substance up high. Really study that one from the side, though. I just got to see more substance in the lower portion of that one's skeleton. Give him some more groceries down through his forerib. I think that one starts to work up. Young lady, good job. Young man going to round out the class with a painted up hog. I think being opened up and the kind that one represents, that's a good market animal. A good market animal. Past that one kind of runs out of things just to really ride a horse about. That thing isn't as stout in its hind leg, wants to close up in his chest, but being opened up and having some shape, young man, I like your bear from that stand. Up hog, I think being opened up and the kind that one represents, that's a good market animal. A good market animal. Past that one, exhibitors, they've done a great job.
Good job on class number 19, our fourth class of dark cross. First place goes to Delaney Hansen, Rocky Mountain 4-H with a blue. In second place, Connor Wallen, Locust Grove Wranglers with a blue. Both Delaney and Connor will return for the dark cross runoff. In third place, Jaylin Acuna, Dirty Boots 4-H with a blue. In fourth with the red, Jonathan Fuller, red. These market hogs range from 289 to 311 pounds. Savannah Stewart, Maya Jensen, Hallie White, Morgan Prilliman, Harper Burnett, Maya Jensen, and Waverly Millard. Make sure y'all come back tonight for the final drive at 6:30. Make sure you look at the live stream. And exhibitors, if you're still around at the conclusion of the market show, go put your pig in front of the banner and be on the live stream.
top to bottom, probably one of the deeper classes that I've had to sort today, just because there's so many similarities when you get talking third, fourth, and fifth. But as far as one that just stands out and isn't similar is the young lady in the white shirt in the center of the ring. I think that one's got a lot of good in terms of how that one's opened up, how square that one, and that's probably one of the first barriers I've been able to describe as square back shape out of the top side of its blade and still having some presence to its side. Get off to the side, it's awfully impressive to carry that much pounds of power through its sternum and its blade, and then still be able to be athletic out of its hip and hind leg and squishy, and then still be able to be athletic out of its hip and hind leg and squishy and bendy. I like a lot of good things about that particular male pig. That's an awfully good one, young lady. Should be awfully proud of that one. Young lady that's going to be in second, coming out of the gate, is one that the longer I studied it, the more this one just moved up, because it just does so many things right. This gilt does. Is she the most attractive in her color pattern or the way her hips designed? Absolutely not. Is she extremely functional in the way she's designed? Absolutely. Her hip and hind leg works right. I know she's starting to get tired and drop her mouth, but that one's still a stout mugged one that's got a big hind leg, uses it right. Maybe just like to see it do some more attractive things in the way it patterns up together. Young lady in third, I think you got one that just checks off all the boxes. That gilt's awfully good. She's square, she's squishy, she's flexible. Maybe just starts to get a little bit jowly underneath her throat latch. Maybe not as extended and up-headed and natural in her head carriage as the two ahead of her. Young lady, that's an awfully good one. Young lady coming out in fourth, same story as the one I talked in third, fourth, and fifth. I think they're really similar in the way they're designed as far as being opened up, designed well in their hip and hind leg. For me, that one just wants to get a little weaker in her spine. That's why I kind of worked her down and got her out of the top three. Young lady coming out here in fifth. This is the one I really didn't know what to do with, because I thought they'll have some flexibility to its skeleton. But for me, that one just wants to get a little too plain up front, a little too frail off at the surface to go ahead and work up. My compliments to each and every one of you. Y'all have done an exceptional job.
Congratulations to our last class of Dark Cross exhibitors. Receiving first place with the purple ribbon, Waverly Millard, Canyon County Fair Junior Livestock. In second with the blue ribbon, Morgan Perliman with Dirty Boots 4-H. Both Morgan and Waverly will come back in for the Dark Cross runoff. Third, Savannah Stewart, Critters of Gold with the blue. In fourth, Harper Burnett, Dirty Boots with the blue. Fifth, Maya Jensen, Cowpokes with the red. In sixth, Maya Jensen, Cowpokes with the white. And in seventh, Hallie White, Dirty Boots 4-H with the white. We're going to have our first class of all other breeds. These market hogs, this is the only one for AOB. They range from 231 to 323 pounds. Sean Tooley, Emery Kirk, Austin Rush, Becken Boren, Lane Hart, and John Pollock.
Difficult class to sort because I don't know if there's one that just absolutely just hit me extremely hard out of the gate. But when I step back and study quality and what they represent, I know I'm not using the heaviest muscled one or maybe even the second, third heavier muscled one, but I'm extremely confident that I'm using the best designed one, and that's the young lady right in front of me. That one's by far the most flexible in its hip and in hind leg. It's heavy duty, heavy built kind of one. It's heavy duty, heavy built kind of one. It's got the build to have a lot of pounds of product on it. For me, that one just gets a little too frail about its hind leg. Maybe not as got the extras. Hertford coming out to round the class out. One that's opened up. I think that one's lateness, maturity, and build kind of is what works it down. That one sets pretty low to the ground. It's got a pretty small hind leg and doesn't use it with as much authority as I'd like to see in this particular drive. Y'all give it up for a great set of kiddos. I've been having a blast judging it here in Idaho today. I think y'all's kids are exceptional. So my compliments to each and every one of everybody involved.
Congratulations to this class of AOB exhibitors. Our division winner in first place with the blue is Emery Kirk. Emery will come back tonight for the final drive. In second, with our second division winner for AOB is Lane Hart, Red Top Wranglers. Lane will come back for the final drive. Receiving a third is Austin Rush, Critters of Gold with the red. Fourth, Beckett Boren, Rocky Mountain 4-H with the white. In fifth, John Pollock with the white. And in sixth, Sean Tooley with the white. Great job. We're going to move into our dark cross runoff. Representing Class 1, Delaney Hanson and Wyatt Arendt. Class 2, Cade Thornton and McKenna Murray. Class 3, Cameron Montanez and Sawyer Watkins. Class 4, Waverly Millard and Morgan Perlman. Class 5, and I missed a class. I missed Class 4, Delaney Hanson and Connor Wallen. And then Class 5 is Waverly Millard and Morgan Perlman. As we conclude this show, don't forget about the final drive tonight at 6:30, where we'll award our grant. Don't forget no sale forms. If you haven't picked them up, do so right away. They're due in an hour. Also, our live stream would like all market swine exhibitors at the conclusion of the show to walk in front of the banner over there.
I didn't come up and shake my hand and tell you thank you for being here. So that makes it really appreciative. It makes it fun for me to come and do because I know everybody can't win. As far as the hogs are concerned, I think there's two in here that I like a good deal. Two in here that hit me extremely, extremely hard from a guy that's a first impression guy. And to get him, it's fun to get him back out here and maybe see some things that I didn't quite see the first time when I got to really break them down and the quality starts to rise. And I got to really figure out which one is my favorite and which one I can stand behind and thoroughly say is I'm confident is the best. There's two of them. I'm gonna be pretty. I got a bad poker face. I'm gonna be pretty blunt. Young man, you're one of them right here in the center of the ring. I think that one from the get-go, that thing just hit me extremely hard in the way his hip was designed and the way he worked and the way she moved and the way she had some shape up high and looked from the side. That one just hit me as one. Although it is a lighter weight gilt in this class, by no means is that one an early maturing one that can't get to a heavyweight. I do wonder when that thing starts to get bigger and that one does start to put some pounds on it, how much authority that one will drive off its rear to and just really push forward and go and grab, pull, however you want to say it. And that one does want to pinch up in its hip loin junction just a slight. I really think that's a high quality one. And then another one that hit me hard was the young ladies right here. I taught that one in class. Probably the first time I got to say when I got on top of them, a true square back shape. That's awfully impressive to put that square of a back that still has that indentation down the top side of its skeleton and still has his hip and work and move and bend right and be at that heavy of pounds and still look fresh up front. Get him back out here, and I really start to study him. He started going.
Don't forget no cell forms and to go. Don't forget no cell forms and to go in front of the banner back there for the live stream.